Welcome. Today I'm going to tell you a bit about one of our Danish folk culture traditions, which is actually today. Today is Fastelavn Sunday, which is Fastelavn is the last day before the big period of living ascetic without too much meat and other pleasures to cleanse the soul and cleanse the body before the Easter comes up. And this has traditionally been observed by living very sparsely in the period from now and until Easter. But before going into that hardship, most people would have liked to have a little party, just to kind of say a temporary goodbye to all the nice things you would have to do without for the next weeks. So what happens is that we have this Fastelavn event, which is basically a huge feast where you would eat a lot, quite a lot, and it would be kind of a carnival-like event. It has different roots what we are doing today. First of all, Fastelavn is an event that comes from Christianity. As explained before, it had originally a ritual purpose. By now, today, it is merely an excuse to celebrate and a big folk party, but it still has some roots that originates partly from this religious Christian event. It also have roots from different other things, which I will mention a bit later. In many places, Fastelavn would be this event would start, especially if you are in the countryside, by going to church and having a short service in the church. And it varies a bit if people will be dressed up already going to the church or if they will do it afterwards. Often, especially in the countryside, people would start going to service in the church, sometimes dressed up already at that point, but then after that they would also go to the feast itself. And the feast is usually containing several events that almost have to be there to call it a real Fastelavn. One of the main attractions is the Fastelavnsbolle. Sadly, I don't have one here, I've already eaten mine, but it is a small sort of bun with filling inside. It could be cream, it could be whipped cream or different kinds of marmalade, and then usually a bit of glazing on top. There are also a more Spandauer-like version of it, which is an open bun. And these are distributed at the party. People are eating those, and that is quite the main attraction when it comes to food at Fastelavn. Now I would like to show you a feature of Fastelavn, which especially for kids is a quite important one. What we have here is a Fastelavnsris. It is basically a bundle of twigs decorated with both colorful decorations and with candy. Different bags of candy. You can see a lollipop down here. This is a thing that children would often do at their kindergartens or at the schools. They would create these bundles of twigs. And then you might ask, what were they actually used for then? Is it just a decoration? No, it's not. In fact, the twigs are meant to as a feature of a special event which takes place in the morning of Fastelavn. This Sunday morning, the kids will gather their bundles of twigs and they would sneak in and they would wake up the parents by hopefully gently whipping them with these twigs. So you can see it's In older times, it might have been kind of an opposite down day. This is, they will sneak into the parents' room and wake them up with these by gently waving or tapping with these bundles. And they would sing a song, which text would be, maybe it would be easier to just sing it first. Fastelavn mit navn, boller vil jeg have. Hvis jeg ingen boller får, så laver jeg ballade. The text of this song is, the essence is, give me buns or I will make trouble for you. So it is a ceremonial ritual way of waking up your parents, and then now you have yourself often provided some of the sweets, but you would get fastelavns buns then afterwards. And then, if you are true to your word, don't make trouble. What you see here is also different other things you would see, not exactly on this one, but I have one here. A mask might be a feature of one of these things. And the mask, we know from carnivals and other places as well, that you would actually also dress up. And in opposite to the original idea with Halloween, that you would dress up as some certain theme, in Fastelavn there is no theme at all. You can dress up as anything you like. I mean, you can be a traffic cone or a musketeer or a superhero princess, just a big piece of fruit. It could be anything you really like. And the children will dress up. Sometimes you would also have events where the adults dress up. It's much, it can vary over time and with the local tradition. And then you would notice that there are cats in this one. The cat is quite an important thing here at Fastelavn. I'm just going to put this down a moment. And there would also sometimes be barrels on this one. And a cat and a barrel, what do they have to do with each other? When gathering together to the Fastelavn feast and getting your buns, etc., together with people in your local community or at your school, there will be this big event for the kids and sometimes the adults. You would have to make a Fastelavn / carnival king and queen. This is a ceremonial title only, but there's not any special powers connected to it, but it has enormous prestige, especially when you are just a little one. And all the kids line up, then they would hit on this barrel. There will be a huge barrel hung from the ceiling, and nowadays it will be stuffed with candy. And when the barrel is smashed with baseball bats, or what you'll find some for the kids to wield, different clubs, then when they smash the barrel, all the candy will pour out and the contest will be over. But usually it's done so like that. There are different versions of this. You would need a cat king, and you would need his queen, or in the case of a cat queen, if a girl wins, you will need a prince. And there are different variations of this. Sometimes you would have that the first one who knocks a piece of the big piece of the barrel will be made the queen or prince, the second of the titles, depending. And then the one who knocks down the entire barrel, so it goes to pieces, are made the king or queen, the first major title. There are also another version, which is also quite cute, I think, where there's only the king or queen becomes the one who knocks down the entire barrel, and then they have the opportunity to pick their queen, or the queen can pick her prince. And that is a fun feature, but because then you will have to go around and you will have to pick one, especially Is it a good friend? Is it someone you like? Who knows? And then it's a quite fun tradition, I think, and it's definitely one that people are looking forward to. Sometimes you would also have, beside a kid's barrel, you might also have a hardened barrel for the grown-ups. Then you have to draw an age line somewhere and say that people above this age are going to hit the barrel of the grown-ups, just to make the competition a bit more fair. And I can assure you that the grown-ups might join in with as much enthusiasm as the kids in this one. Who doesn't like to wreck things? I certainly like hitting the cat of the barrel, as we say. And why do we say hitting the cat of the barrel? I mentioned this cat king, cat queen thing several times now. This cat here, a black cat, is normally what we connect to some kinds of superstition or magic and scary things. And that is actually also the case with Fastelavn. In earlier tradition, it wasn't candy that was in the barrel. And now you probably start finding out where this is going. Usually, you would in earlier times put a cat inside the barrel, a black cat, and then you would beat up the barrel. Yeah, poor cat, but that was tradition. And eventually, then you would, after you knocked down the barrel, you would, or have given it a good thorough beating, you would let the cat go and you would chase it away, chase it out of town, making it take all the evil spirits that cats are associated with and all the sorcery away from the city, so that you could live in peace and not be disturbed by evil forces. And that is the tradition which today still lives in the Danish term hitting the cat of the barrel. So it's a very nice child-friendly tradition, just like several of our other folklore traditions. So yes, I think that was what I wanted to show you, except that we have a little more different decorations. You have here a range of cats, which I made several years ago. You have some other barrels with maybe a colored background. There are different variations of these different colorful ornaments as well. So yeah, and then of course the main event, eating the candy. All these small, oh, I should mention, you can see these small things that almost looks like small buds here on the leaves, and all this with small chickens and Easter bunnies and small buds, and that you can say it's not it is more prevalent at Easter, but in general this is also this is associated with the springtime. This is inspired a little by Easter, bountiful, which is also the coming of the spring, and there will at Easter in Denmark you will see a lot of decorations being centered about the coming of the spring, about bountiful nature, new small creatures like bunnies, and overflow of energy and plentiful of resources. Fastelavn leads up to through this long sparse weeks of living modestly, and then comes the Easter celebration. So that was a bit of context for one of the Danish traditions. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe you will even get to meet a Danish tradition if you are in Denmark at the right time of the year. So a happy Fastelavn Sunday to you all. So bye from here. Take care.